Welcome to my new video, and in this video we'll be discussing on how to upload images from a React application to AWS. And for this video we'll be using React as a front end, an Express server, a Node.js server as a backend, and also learning how to create an AWS bucket, and also making it publicly accessible by our application. Please stay with me. Thank you. Let me show you how to create a bucket. So you need to have an AWS verified account. You just create your bucket name, select the region you want your bucket to be saved, leave it as the default ACLs disabled, then uncheck to block all public access, and you create the bucket. Now, by creating the bucket, you still need to make the bucket public, like this. So we'll be using this, we'll be making this already existing bucket public. So once after creation of the bucket, you select the bucket, you go to permissions. If you notice, you see all public access off, but it is still telling you that the bucket can still be public. So we need to set a bucket policy for that. So let's just come to this policy section. Let's edit the bucket policy. Let's use the AWS policy generator to generate a new policy for this bucket. So I have here, so this is the AWS policy generator URL. I'll drop the URL in the description below. We need to select S3 bucket policy because we are trying to set an S3 bucket policy. We need to leave it as default, allow. Then we need to use star to say we are selecting every element of this S3 bucket. So once you use enter star here, you notice you can change the option here. Then we need to select, we need to look for get objects. That is all we need. And we need to get our Amazon resource name. In order to generate our Amazon resource name, we need to go to that bucket. We'll go to the properties, and we will see our Amazon resource name here. So we'll copy that, go back to the AWS policy generator link we have already open, paste in the AWS resource name. Then we add slash and star on your keyboard. So we add statements, we generate the policy. Now we have something like this. You copy the policy, close it, go back to my bucket section, go back to my permissions, edit the bucket policy, and paste inside the policy input field. Then we save the changes. Now our bucket is now publicly accessible. Now, in order to connect our React application with our AWS bucket, we need to create a bucket and generate an AWS secret and access key assigned to this bucket. So in order to generate that, we need to use one of AWS services called IAM. IAM, that means Identity Access Management. Let's open this in a new tab. So this IAM services will give us access to adding a little bit of security to our AWS bucket. and also helping us configure the AWS SDK that will be used in our application. So if you see here, currently I have 2 users. I will not be creating a user. So when you come to your IAM dashboard, just come to the user section. You can add a user. After creation of a user, you have access to your access key and your public key. So when you create a user, you just give the user this policy, AWS full access policy. If you give the user that full access policy, you have access to your access key and your public key. So that is that. So once you have your public key and your access key, you copy that and keep that somewhere. We'll need that for later. So we'll be needing 3 things. We need your public key, your access key from your IAM dashboard, and also we need your S3 bucket and the location where this bucket is. So this my bucket is currently in EU Not 1. So you keep those 4 details. I'll see you soon. So I have a demo React app here. I'll just run you through the code. So this is a demo React app from the Create React Apps template. I just made a little bit of upgrade in order to make the video faster. So if you notice on my package.json, I have installed Axios for API calls. I have also installed React Hook Form for form state management. So I will run my React application now using yarn start. Oh, sorry about that. So I have my React application running, and I also have my backend here, which is a Node and Express application. Let me run you through the React application, and I'll run you through the Node backend. So this is what my React application looks like. So my React application is currently running on localhost 3000. So this is what my React application currently looks like. I'm just getting the full name of the user and also uploading a file to my AWS server. So let me run you through the React application. So on the React application, the app.js is rendered inside the index.js. And in the app.js, we have just a form with an input of full name and an input of CV, to upload CV. So if you notice, we have set that we want to accept only PDF, docs, and Word documents. You can make this to accept also images and the likes. We have a form with a submit button. So let me run you through the application now. So we are using this use form from React Hook Form. If you've not used React Hook Form, I advise you check it out. It will help you reduce the stress in handling React form submission. So we are calling this use form hook from React Hook Form, and this use form hook gives us access to a register, handle submit, and the form states, which will still have access to the errors. Now, on the form, we'll handle the submits from this React hook form, and we'll pass in our function submit form. And also, I'm making the method to be post because it's a post request, and also adding this multi-part form data. This is very important if you want to send both files and JSON strings. So this React Code form gives us access to this register function. We are tying it with the name of the input field, which is the full name, and we are saying it is required. If the full name is not entered, it should say full name is not entered. And we are styling that input field that if there's an error, it should change the border to red. So this is Tailwind CSS. And also for the upload resume, I am registering it with the use hook form using CV upload. And we are saying if there is no file entered, please tell the user, please upload a document. And I'm also saying if there is an error, please change the border to red 700. So we have that sorted out. So we only have a submit button that will give a type of submit. Let me go to our console and see what happens to our React application. If I type, let me go to so if I enter my full name, Jerry Ifeanyi, and I select a file, let me select the CV, I open. If I try to upload, on our submit function, we are trying to console log the data from this form. So that means anything we submit from this form, we will have access to it from the data object. So we are console logging the data object. If you notice on the data object, we have the full name, which I submitted as Jerry Ifeanyi, and we also have a CV upload, which is a file list. Now let's try to access what is in that file. Let me console.log. So since we have that file list, that means we can have more than one file upload. So I will try to submit this form again. So it is showing that we have a file list. We have a file list that is, the file name is Jerry Ifeanyi CV, and this is the file, the last time it was modified. And so we have access to the file, we have access to the file name. So in order to, since we are just uploading a single file, we are trying to access the array location of 0, the first index of the array, and sending that to our API backend. So we are getting the location 0 of that array and saving it inside this file object. So we deleted the CV upload field from this data object and made the CV upload field take up the file and sending it to the server. So let's see what happens here. Let me comment this out. So let's console our new data. I'll save this. Let me hit that again. So now we have our full name, which is Jerry Ifeanyi, and the CV upload field is the file directly to that first file we uploaded. Now we have this. Let's run. Let me walk you through our Express server. So our Express application is a normal Node.js application. We have the controller, we have the models, and we have the routes folder. The route folder consists of just a single route, which is the API upload. and the controller folder is the actions on this route, which we can see here. So for here, we only have the upload function. The model folder is a profile section where we can save the full name and the image URL coming from AWS. So let me run the backend, the Node.js application, and let's see how that works. So while that is trying to come up, let me run you through the package.json file. So we have installed AWS SDK. We've installed the body parser, cookie parser, and we also have the .env installed. We have the Morgan installed, NodeMon to run both the server and the client, to run both the server and the client if need be, and also help us update our state, rerun our application anytime we save. And we have this motor package. This motor package will be used to receive the image from the front end, and it acts like a buffer to that image. So while we have this running, let's go to our controller, the actions for the upload. Now the upload is trying to receive a certain request.body and a certain request.file. It has access to request.body and request.file. This request.body is the full name, any text field coming from the front end, and this file is the file coming from the front end. If you notice on our React session, we use the multi package where we are requiring the profile actions from this controller screen, and we are requiring our multi package. We are getting this upload variable from the multi package, and we are trying to upload a single element from the mode using the CV upload field in our front end. So this CV upload is telling Motor to expect a single document upload coming from the front end within field name CV upload, which can also be found here. So let's do some checks here. So if we go to our actions, where we have in our controller folder, actions folder, we are requiring the AWS SDK I told you we installed earlier. And from that SDK, we are creating a new object, and we are passing the access key we got while creating our IAM identity access management user, the secret key we also got, and our AWS region. All those are coming from my env file. Now, since we have this, let's see what the front end is sending to the backend. Currently, our front end is running on ports. Our front end is running on ports 3000, while our backend is running on ports 4000. So I'll save this, go to our front end, which is the app.js, and I'll uncomment this section of the code. This is just hitting the backend to that API upload URL, making a post request. We set the header to content type multipath form data, and we are passing this data here. This data we got, that is the full name and the CV upload file to this API. Let's see what it comes back with. Let me save this. Let's try to hit the API again. So I have my full name as verifying, and I'm trying to upload. Let me upload another file. Let's check out our console. So let me hit submit. I have the file here, quite all right. So it's showing that my submit is trying to hit a certain API, and let's go to our backend. We have our full name here because we are getting that from the request. No, sorry. Go to the profile section. From our actions, it's showing that we are getting the request.body. So let's say on the front end, I want to add another field. Let's say I want to add age. I'll just come to my form section, right? So let me copy. Let's make it faster. I'll copy this, replace that. Let me say age. Enter your age. I change the state name, the name of the input field to age. Let's say age is required. If there's an error, tell me. Let's save that. Go back to our browser. We have two fields. So if I enter the age, let me enter I'm 100 years old. Select a file and I try to submit. Just watch down at the console here. So I am now having my full name, my age, and the CV upload file. So React hook form makes it easy for you to do all this without creating a new state variable, targeting the image, the state change of that variable, and setting it to the new variable created, the new use hook created. So you see from our backend, we also have the full name and the age. So let's uncomment. Let's go to our actions folder. Let's uncomment the file. Let's see what. So we can access, like I said, any text. We can access it from the request.body, and any other file we can access it from request.file from our backend. Let me save this and go back to our browser and try to submit again. Let's see what the API is saying. So it's currently saying the full name, the age from the request.body, and there's a request.file here where we have the CV upload, the field name coming from the front end, the original name of the file, the encoding type, the meme type, which is the document type, and there's this buffer object. This buffer object contains the file itself. This is available to us by this Malta package. So you can check out Malta package for file upload. So this is available to us from this Malta package middleware here we added to our URL, to our route. So let's complete this. I want to check this section of the code. So right here I'm saying if there's no request.body, please send a response to the user with a success false and tell the user to provide all required information. But if there is a request.body and also a request.file, I can make this to say if there's no request.body and there is no request.file, send that to the user, telling them to provide all required information. Else, take the request.file, save it in this file object. Then we set up our bucket name. Currently our bucket name is we are using the node demo bucket. So you change that with your bucket name. And we want to save the image, the document, to this location. So we have this params object where we set in a bucket, we set in a key, and we set in the body of the params object, which is the file. We have this file here. We are trying to access the file.buffer. That is the file. In order to get a unique location, we made a template literal saying we want it to be saved in the profiles folder / the file name. So this S3 object is coming from this S3 object we defined up here with our access secret key and the AWS region. So while we have this, we use the .upload method. It takes in the parameters we declared up here and also a callback function that gives us access to an error and the data coming from S3. So let's go to our bucket and see. I'll save this now. Let's check our bucket and make sure. So if you go to the AWS bucket that I'm using, this is the demo. It is publicly accessible. So you see there is no file in this bucket currently. There is no file in this bucket. So let's try to submit the file and see what happens. So from the front end, I already have this data entered already. I'll just try to upload. Let's check our console. It should log a response for me. It is telling me yes, everything worked fine. So let's go to the I said the response to console.log should be console.log. So it is giving me the URL of the document I just uploaded. If I go to my S3 bucket and I just refresh, I have a certain profiles folder with the image here. So basically our React application is saying, oh, if you have this upload successful, please console.log the response coming from the API. If it's not successful, please console.log the error. Meanwhile, our API is saving that file, uploading the file. If there's an error, it should throw an error. If not, it should save it in a database that we name profile. You can see that in our models. Yeah. You can access the location of the image. So when you use the upload method on the S3 object, it gives you a response of this setting data. You can also, the setting data comes with a location. So let's console.log that to see. So let's console.log the S3 data. Let's see, it comes with location and some other, the location of the image and some other properties. I'll save this. In order to make this, I'll change this to application. I'll save this. Let's try to hit our server and see what goes on. So I'll try to upload again. So I'll get a success response. This is the new URL of that document. If I copy this URL, I will have access to the file. This will automatically download that file for me. I have the file downloaded here. And if we go to our S3 buckets, I'll just refresh. Okay, I need to go back to our bucket. I'll just refresh and we have a certain applications folder with the same file uploaded. All right, guys, thanks for your time. So I will drop this link, this code in the description below. Try to check it out. If you have to respond to your comments and let me know what you want to learn next. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Thank you very much for your time.